Hey everybody, I wanted to share some footage that I got of the horses in the arena playing because they were just having so much fun and running around and pretending to bite and kick and all kinds of things. When horses do this type of playing, they're not really the intent isn't to hurt, the intent isn't to cause some damage. The intent is more like a sparring match where there may be some connections, but it's not necessarily what they wanted. Anyways, this footage has just really blown me away as I watch it myself, and I hope you enjoy it as well. These guys were just having a pile of fun in the arena. Here you can see they're running. I've got this high frame rate footage that I managed to slow down, and you can see everything that's happening, whether they're running or galloping, obviously, whether they've taken a moment to try to kick, whether they or how they stop. When they do stop, how do they stop? You can see everything in really, really cool details. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy this footage as much as I did. I'll see if I can point out a few things as we go along with this footage that I notice, and you yourself probably notice many things yourself. But in each one of these clips, generally it's these two that are playing around, and what I really notice is how fast their heads move, how fast their feet move, how quickly they can go from just sort of looking like they're gently sparring to some real action, something that where they'll rear up or really try to bite out or really try to kick out. So as you can see right here, the horse on the left had really been sort of bugging the horse on the right by biting at the dock at the base of his tail. And so finally he just turns around and he says, "I've had it and I'm going to get you." And just very quick movements where they'll rather rear up, reach a leg out to strike, use their mouths to bite. And of course, there's nothing like watching their long locks flow in the wind as the slow motion footage catches all this action happening at once. But it's really important to notice the position of the head, the position of the rear end of the horse. All of these things are definite clues when you're around a horse, whether or not they're going to react to you or react to another horse, and how they might do that. The position of their body, whether they're sort of curled around you or not. But watching horses play can be very, very not only entertaining, but purely, a lot of education that you can get out of the movements of their body. Here they bump noses. I don't think that's really intentional, but it happens. You can watch their ears, watch their eyes. If you've ever studied on horses, can actually see this type of play will really make a lot of sense. The way they move their heads to see what they're doing and what they're trying to strike at or hit or bite. Just a couple of horses having fun playing. This went on for probably about an hour. I didn't catch that much of it, obviously, but they're very busy horses. And as you can see, when it goes back to normal speed, they're quite quick. This isn't exactly the safest place to be, but I know they're not really going to come towards me to do any of this. They will go around me, and I did get sprayed with sand one time, but in general, they're concentrating on each other. This is not a bunch of aggressive behavior that it may be looked at as. These horses are truly just playing around. It's actually very easy to stop them from playing if I really sort of spoke up or made a movement. But I was trying to be as quiet as possible so they wouldn't pay attention to me at all. Otherwise, I never would have got this footage. They would have just stood there looking at me. So we got really lucky with this stuff. Usually they don't do this much if I'm standing in the arena. I have to kind of be far away or a little bit hidden for them to play as much as they are. So that's really neat. So check this out. Pay attention, if you can, to all the little things. But if not, heck, just enjoy it. Slow motion footage of horses playing is good fun. Here you can see that the movement looks really, really slow, but it isn't. This footage is slowed down to almost 10% of what its actual speed is. So it's 90% faster in real life, whatever that might mean to you, but much quicker. Once it comes back to normal speed, you'll see how quickly, if you haven't seen already, how fast one can reach out and one can avoid. And that part is what's really impressive to me, how quickly a horse can move and get away or make an attack. So you can see here he just barely misses him because the other horse knows exactly how far to stay away. It's that age-old saying that you can swing a rope at a horse and it won't be long before they stay just, half an inch away from the reach of that rope swing. So the same deal when it comes to playing. They know how far the other horse can reach and they stay just barely out of reach of that while the other one tries. And so they know as soon as the other horse takes a step forward, then they've got to make a move as well. So it's just good playtime, good sparring time. Very healthy for horses to do this. There's a difference between aggressive sort of attacking, and this type of playing. And hopefully that can be seen here as it is, because it is just playing. So as we watch through some of this sort of playtime footage, while this part sort of seems a little bit slow, there's a lot of things to look at, where their ears are, where their eyes are. You can see every once in a while they'll do this, the horses will do this. They'll look like they're taking a little bit of a break, or kind of looking down or pausing, but it's not long before they're right back into the action and trying to gain the upper hand. And you'll see here how the horse on the left is making a move around the horse on the right to get him to do something other than what they're doing now. But again, I mean, a lot of this is sort of just my own perception, or how I think it's going, or what I think they're thinking. But the actions sort of show, as he tries to get around to the back end of the horse on the right, that he's going to make a move in his middle, and they take off running. Which of course is a really cool sight to see as well, as they both sort of pick up traction and take off pretty fast, with tails in the air and ears back and forward and all kinds of stuff. And we pick up into normal speed here, and you can see the quickness of how it's actually happening. When you start to watch it in slow motion, you think it's actually this slow, but it's quite quick. They're moving around a lot. So we got another clip of them playing around in the barrel again. And it's a lot of sparring. It's like boxing, where two boxers will be trying to punch a little bit but not really hit. And watching how they interact with their ears and their eyes, and putting their heads sideways or opening their mouths. It's all about who's going to move their feet first. And that's the competition that's going on. And even though it's going so slow, it really is amazing to watch in person, where one is trying to get the other, and the other one's just fast enough to get out of the way, just barely in time, and not get kicked or bit or knocked over or something. In playtime, rearing up can be very powerful. I mean, even in normal fighting time, rearing up can be very powerful, as they can strike with their front hooves quite easily. But in this case, he's just trying to get a little bit taller and see if he can move the other horse backwards a little. He can't. They just continue sort of going on their way, playing like this. So you can see the speed of what happens normally. I'm going to slow it back down. And here, the horse on the right is actually taking a step forward to see if the other horse will step backwards, which he sort of does. Sort of gives a little bit of space while the other one pushes a little bit of space. And now things get a little bit quicker. And that was a very close one. He just barely got his head out of the way. But now the flow goes the other way, and the horse on the left is moving forward while the horse on the right moves backwards. And this is expected. The horse on the left is a bigger, stronger horse and more dominant within the herd, while the other one, very playful and will stand his ground. Push comes to shove, he'll leave. There won't be a fight. That's how you really do know that these kinds of things are actually playtime. Because if it was an aggressive fight, they wouldn't keep coming back to each other and bugging each other, and they are. Each one goes to the other. So just good, healthy playtime. So you can see how quick it is, this sparring that happens. The striking and rearing up. It's half-hearted. It is really quite lackluster for playtime. Go down really quickly because this is actually one point where the horse behind actually didn't move quite fast enough, and there actually was contact right there, just sort of on the elbow, sort of a little bit on the shoulder and elbow. There's no injuries, but just a little thump kind of thing that you can hear, and he takes off and the other one follows. But it's very, very quick. I mean, these things you just may not even notice in real time. In fact, we'll watch that again in real time. This is the slow motion version, so if you want, you can go back and forth in the video and see both of these happening. And here it is in real time. You can see how quickly that happens. Oh. And off they go playing again. So, you know, no harm, no foul amongst horses. They get the third one in on the game a little bit. He's not really interested in playing too much when there's three of them. But he runs around a little bit. He's a good-looking horse. So, decided to put him in here as well. That right there, the movement that he made towards me is not quite acceptable, but there really wasn't anything I could do about it at the time. Mainly because he has his nose in towards me. He wants to play, but I'm not a playmate. But as he comes around again, he's a little bit more normal. He's got his ear to me, but he's not moving his nose or trying to get me to do something right there. And you'll see him as he comes around that while the first two are playing, the horse on the left actually disengages and goes after this guy, who is more than ready for him because he gets his head up high and sort of gets a little hop in there, ready to give him a kick, which he does manage to get, as you can see, right in his chest. I did check him out after. He seemed to be fine. It's not very hard kicks. Again, these are sort of play kicks where they'll sort of do a little thump, but it's not a follow through. So definitely something you need to recognize when watching horses playing. Hopefully this footage does sort of help that as you watch them play in slow motion and in normal speed, to be able to catch that when you're in, you know, an arena or a paddock or a field or something and horses are goofing off. What does it look like when they're being aggressive? What does it look like when they're playing? And how can you sort of foresee that to keep yourself as safe as you can? But mostly, hopefully this just turned out to be really kind of fun to watch. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys again soon.